So we're going to talk about how to make these very simple spring clips and 101 things you can do with these cool spring clips. So what we do is we take a piece of corrugated plastic that is 3" by 9" or 3 by 8, and then we do our first score line down the middle, and then we fold it over and flip it upside down, and then we do a score line 3/4 of an inch to the left and to the right of this fold line. And then we flip it back over and we put the double-sided tape down. Now with this double-sided tape, we're removing the backing off of it, and that's always the most challenging part. All right, and now, but I have to make sure that I broke along those score lines. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it together and make a big W, and then I'm going to push down real hard so that I compress the flutes. That way I know it's nice and tight, and now I have my spring clip. I really am not going to worry about if it doesn't line up. I can trim it off if I have to, but when we make a page holder, we don't care because part of it you can't even see. It's the other part that sits out. So the next video will show how we make page holders with it. All right, so now we have this spring clip here, and we're going to turn it into a page holder. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to take a piece of this Remo 2, and I'm putting it right on the inside of my spring clip. So Remo 2, it's removable on both sides. So the reason it goes on the inside is I have to have a way to attach it to my slant board. So you can see I'm pushing it in, I have it underneath. Now it attaches. Now it's not going to slide up and down. And now I've got it holding the pages, and I can turn my page and slide that in. So it's a way of, and the other part about the page holder is all books are different. But if I wanted to pry this off the bottom, all right, put this back on there like that. Actually, that's a little bit easier. Then I slide it here, and I'm going to push up on it. And now I can slide my book over a little bit more and holding that in, and then turning the pages. So see how it hits here? Now I can push down on here and get it to slide, or I can take a second piece of the Remo, and I left the backing on there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around like this. Now I've got this plastic that has a low friction coefficient to it, so that now when I'm turning the pages, it will slide. See how it hits this plastic and then just slides right underneath. So it's a nice way to hold pages open if you only have the use of one hand. All right, so this is the Pocket Eileen kit, and you'll notice that everything has been already scored for you. And so there's a whole video on how to make score lines, but there's 2 score lines on this one, and you just snap it to break it, and then on the back there's 1 score line here, and I snap it and break that score line. This is considered our base, our mounting base, and you'll notice they both have double-sided tape, but just one's got the Velcro on it. So on our base, we're going to get this ready, and this is our mounting base. So first thing we're going to do is peel and stick the Velcro brand hook on both the left and the right. Then we're going to flip it upside down, and we are going to put these feet, and these feet are made out of foamy material, and it just provides some slip resistance. So we put that in all 4 corners. There you go. Great. So now that's our mounting base. We set that aside. Here is our angle base for our iPad or our phone. And what we have to do is we have to put a lip on our base that we It's the flexible repositional base. And so here's our lip. Put the lip on there. All right. Next, what we have to do is we have to take this and put it on top. So we're going to peel the backing off here, and we're going to line that right up with the edge. You get one shot at this. Push down on it, and voila. Now we can put our phone in here. We can put an iPad in here. You can change the angles with it. I can make it steeper. You want to take your scissors and cut off all these sharp edges, and so you just take your scissors and put them parallel to the surface, snap those off. But now I can also turn it into a document holder by taking that extra scrap and then sliding that in. So it can be a document holder, book holder, and then when you're done, it collapses and it goes into your backpack or wherever. These industrial twist ties are really awesome. You can do so many different things. You notice that this has already been bent in half, but I just want to show something, you know, very easy, simple to do for a writing aid. So the first thing we do is we take the ends here and we're going to bend them up and over. So we turn it into somewhat of a hook. Then we put our pen on the inside, and when we bend these over, we're going to bend one to the left and one to the right. So then you can see how one's going to the left, right. Now we should have a space here, and what we want is we want to rotate this piece up in between the space. So what I find is that if I put it in my hand, like I'm going to do it this way. I'm squeezing it, so I'm going to try squeeze and rotate. There we go. So now I've rotated it over. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to twist it like that. So see how I've got that twisted? Now I've got a couple of options. One is now that it's twisted at, I don't know what, 90 degrees or perpendicular. So before it was a loop and I twisted it. Now I can open this up a little bit and I can slide my hand in here, make a little loop here. Bend that a little bit more. So I can slide my hand in, and then I'm going to position it so that, figure out where do I want to put this around my hand and bend this. But I find for like writing, like I can write like this maybe if I've got a tight fist, but I really don't like the feel of something on the back of my hand. But you know, for some people, this really works out really well. So what I want to show you is another option. So I'm going to squeeze that close again. I'm going to slide my pen down a little bit further. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this upward like this. Okay? So now I've got this bent upward. Now what I like is I can slide my hand in here and I can put my thumb right here, and oh, that feels so much better of just dropping my hand in and drawing or painting or whatever this way. But notice how this rubber, I like that I can also rock back and forth, but this is much more comfortable for writing. Now, because this is going to drag onto the table, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of Velcro Brad 1 wrap, and notice I've got the loop more toward the table, and I'm going to wrap this nice and tight around here, because this is going to make, see how this makes it slipperier now? Now I can put my hand back in here and look at that, that just glides. Very easy to slide around, very low friction coefficient. So there is my very simple writing aid with an industrial twist tie. This is a whole roll of Locklift rug gripper tape, and I really, really love this material. So I'm pulling the backing back, and notice how I'm going to tear off a piece. It's got this waxy material on the two sides, and I can use that to stabilize a piece of paper on the table. So if I was writing, notice how the paper's not moving around. So that's really kind of cool, and it doesn't hurt my page. So it's a nice way for stabilizing for writing. Also, you've seen it used for reading, too, for holding things, but also wanting to show you that I can stick this up on the wall, and I can also mount things up on the wall with the Locklift rug gripper tape. All right, so here's something else that you can do with this lock-up red rubber tape. If I have a hard time turning pages, I can wrap this around the palm of my hand. So I've got that, and now I can grip a hold of pages and flip through the book. So that's another. So here I'm just grabbing one page at a time. All right, so this is a scan and read station. If you come on in here closer to really show what this looks like, and so you can see how the camera sees the image down here, and look at, I hit this button here, right? It takes a picture of it, scans it.
Vertical iPad holder for zooming in on the board. 4.
Reads
Tactile
it
overlays.
and highlights it.
5. Page letters. 6. Eileen 7.
So that's a very nice, easy, portable scan and read station with the KNFB reader. So now, we're going to show how easy it is to make it. So this is a board that is 14 inches by, let's see, 12. No, actually 14 by 19. And it's already been pre-scored. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take my binder clip, and with my binder clip, clamp it on there. I'm going to take binder clip here, squeeze it nice and tight. Come over here, a little slippery here, and clamp it there. Oh. So now I've got the magic number of 10, and I can slide my piece of paper in there and then put my iPad on there with the KNFB reader and scan and read the document. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to be making a slant board. And the first thing we have to do is we've got one score line on one side of the board. This ends up to be our mounting board. So we break along the score line. We line that up, break along the score line. Then we flip it over. On this side, we have 1, 2, 3 score lines. So we break along the score line here, and we break along the score line here. And then we break along the score line here. All right, now that we broke along all the score lines, we're gonna start by peeling this up and then folding this over and pushing that down. All right, now we're gonna peel this up and we're gonna stick our little lip on there. There we go, our lip there. Next thing you're going to do is on this side, we are going to put our soft part of the Velcro hook and loop here and then over here. Now we're going to open this up, we're going to tuck this guy in, and we're going to take our utility knife and we're going to use this as a guide. We're going to just follow. I'm going to stand up so I can keep my hand here and I can get a nice straight line because I'm using that as my straight edge. Then I'm going to break along the straight edge. Then I will take my Cora Claw. So you can see what I'm doing with just that one first projection. I'm putting my thumb and index finger here. I'm pulling this over to the edge of the table and just sliding straight down. There we go. And now on the inside, I'm going to put my 2 hook pieces. Peel and stick. Slippery backing here, and then peel and stick here. There we go. So now this locks in here like this. So it becomes a slat board. I can also use it as a lap board as well. And now what I want to do is I want to cover this part up because I don't want it to be so rough. I do have a lip on it so it can catch, like if you put an iPad here or, you know, different documents. So you'll notice what I'm doing. I'm pulling this back maybe about 3 inches or so, And then see this fold line right here? So I'm going to take this and I'll line it up on the fold line on the inside. And then I'm gonna push down right into that fold line. And then I'm gonna push down right on top of my lip. Then I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm gonna pull it back like this. Notice I'm leaving the paper still on it. And this is so that I don't get any bubbles. I'm pushing that all in there. Now I come back and I start pulling on that paper. So pulling on the paper and rubbing that in. And pulling that back. And then back. So this helps to not only grip onto the table, but if you notice on my pants here, I can put this down on my pants. It grips onto the pants as well. So if I put a laptop computer on here, it works out really well for, it's a lap board, slant board. And then to make it portable, I lift up, tuck in, and now it's portable. It can go into the backpack and you can take it wherever you want to take it with you. So that is how easy it is to make a slant board. All right, we're going to talk about this portable collapsible book holder here, which is really cool. Opens up, folds up, and now you can carry it with you. So it's a different way of making these, and they're actually really much faster, much easier, and pretty much can be done with the Coral Cloth. So as you see this, we've already put the score lines in, so it's a 24-inch by 7-inch, and the score lines are already put down and the double-sided tape. So the first thing what we're going to do is we can go ahead and peel this back here, and we're going to fold this board over like that. Then over on this side, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece off. So we've got one piece there that we're removing. And we're going to take off, let's see, we're going to take off one piece here on the third flute, on this end that we're removing, and that's with the Coral Cloth. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stick. This is going to be for our lip. We're going to have like kind of like a double lip. I'm going to stick this down there. Now, great. And we're going to pull back on the backing here and put our second piece in. Great. Now we're going to take our Velcro loop material. We're going to stick it here, and we're going to stick another piece. So the loop is the softer material right there. Great. Now I'm going to open this up, and here I'm going to stick my hook pieces on this end. There's the hook there, and our hook here. Now we fold this over. This locks in right here, and here we have our book holder. But notice how it's sliding around. So on the bottom, we are going to peel and stick these rubber bumpers in all four corners. And then that provides a nice non-slip surface. Great. There. So now we can put our book in there. But you notice how this is kind of drooping a little bit? And so if that happens, we can take one of these uprights here. And look at that, I stick that there right behind it. Now it makes it nice upright so that the book is not going to flip over. Right, so you can do that. There. Now we have one last thing, and see these sharp corners here and here? We're going to come with our pair of scissors, and we're going to just lay them parallel, and we're going to nip off these triangles. So same thing. See how my scissors are about parallel? And I'm just coming around and I'm just nipping the little triangle tabs just so nobody will cut themselves. So everything's nice and rounded. And now I can open this up, fold it like this, fold it like this. Now it's portable and off it goes. So that is how you quickly make the portable collapsible book holder. All right, we're going to talk about how to add page lifters on here. And so the first thing I want to show you is on these page lifters, here's how easy it is to remove the backing of this Remo tape. So notice how I'm just using the edge of my thumb. Let's try this one. Yeah, and see, just by going like that, it lifts up. Same thing, I'm going to do it one more time. Lifts up. Again, no fingernails, it's just the side of my thumb that flicks up and grabs it. So the first thing we're going to do is, this one's pretty easy, and I'm lining this up and folding over. There we go. Now that we've got the first page, here's our second page. And with our second page, I need to make sure that I've got this lined up with the edge. So I'm using my first page as a guide and lining it up like here, right? Okay. Then I open up the page and fold over, right? So now I grab my second page. And again, I'm using that as a guide, or my next page, lining that right up with the edge here. Great. Pushing down on that, turn that over, and so here's a mistake that I've made because I grabbed 2 pages, but that's okay. That's what I like about the Remo. Use 1 page as my guide and fold over. Great, push that down. And my next page, so I'm grabbing with just 1. And again, gonna line this up right underneath. Oh, this one I didn't take the backing off. There we go. And I line up, push down, and then fold over. All right, now I'm going to grab my next page. Again, I'll line it up. Actually, that's kind of a peachy thing. I'm going to put purple over here. Lined up onto the edge, and I push down, turn the page, and fold over. Now I can do my peach. Take my next page, and line up like that, turn the page, and fold over. To the next page. I gotta make sure I don't grab too many there, because it's very easy to accidentally grab. Go, push down, turn the page, and fold over. Line that up, push down, turn the page, and fold over. Page, push down, turn the page, fold over. Push down, turn the page, and fold over. So now you have your page lifters, and so then you can grab here. If I say go to the purple page, you can grab the purple page or the yellow page. So it's really easy that for people that can't get in between their fingers, can very easily grab one of these, and makes it much easier to get to that particular page. So there you have it, page lifters on the fly. All right, let's talk about making a universal cuff. And this is your universal cuff kit. The first thing is, this is Velcro brand One Wrap, rough on one side, loop on the other. And we've got our double face loop, and we have an industrial twist tie. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to cut off 2 1-inch pieces off the end of our One Wrap. And we're gonna take these 1-inch pieces, and we are going to apply it to both ends of our double-faced loop material. Then we're going to slide a D-ring over the top, And the way we're gonna secure our D-ring is because, again, it's 50% over, and we're gonna fold that over like that. Then with this D-ring, we're gonna wanna attach that right in the middle, hook side up, and we're gonna create a pocket. And we're gonna create a pocket for our spoon. And first we're gonna roll that all the way over, and I'm gonna slide our other end through the D-ring. There we go. And my hand is kind of small, and you notice we have all this excess left over. And so usually we can cut this over, but everybody's hand is different. So for this activity, I'm just going to fold that over like that. And now, I don't know, we've got a pocket here, and the way we've got the pocket, we're gonna separate that with the spoon, because this is just the one wrap. There, now that slides into the pocket. And so now, and we want the universal cuff to be really above the person's knuckles. So now they're able to feed themselves. But what if the person has low tone, right? And so they can't really feed themselves very well this way. And so maybe you want to do a custom adaptation for this particular spoon. So if that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to slide this back out. And we're going to open the pocket back up. And we're going to take this industrial twist tie, and we're going to fold it in half, and the ends we're just going to kind of curl over like this, right? Then we're going to stick our spoon in there, like so. And then I have to make sure that it's nice and tight. And I like using the table, because the table I can push down both sides like that. I'm going to pull that in there. And the idea is I want to get my fingers here to roll this over, to hold my spoon nice and tight in there. Then I'm going to lay it down just like this. The spoon is upside down, it's facing me. And I'm going to close my pocket off here on this end. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to slide my one wrap through that D-ring. And see this little hole here? I'm sliding it through, and then I'm going to thread it right through that hole on the industrial twist tie. So now I can put my hand in here. And I have all this excess, again, that's left over. So I would normally just cut that part off, so because I don't need that much. And so I've got the spoon facing this way, and I'm like, I didn't position it right. But what's nice is I can slide it out, slide my spoon back in this way, right? And then tighten it back down. But here's what's really kind of cool, because I can bend and position this spoon wherever I need to have it positioned. I can have it up high. All depends upon the person's tone. But what if, another thing, that if I want to put a marker in there. So if I put a marker in there, all right, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this excess material off right there. That in there. There we go. And what I can do with this marker, because I'm not, if it was painting, this would be fine. I could paint up and down, but my paper is here. So what I have to do is I have to hang onto this part and rotate this over, twist it over. And if it's twisting over, I can change whatever position. Or I can slide it down, I can rest my thumb here, and if I was drawing this way, I could do that. Now, there's one other thing that you can also do with creating a grasping solution, and that is using a PVC T-joint and the one wrap. So again, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take my pocket piece out here, and now I'm going to cut a long strip. And I do this also for like styluses and other adaptations and things that we want to put in the T-joint. So now I'm going to slide this piece with the hook side down. There we go. And here's my D-ring there on this side. Put that in there. There. So that holds that down like that. And then I'm going to come back across here and thread this through the D-ring. So my hand, and notice how it's holding this T-joint in here. Slide across here, I'm closing that off. And now I have an assortment of different things. Like if I want a stylus in here, I can put a stylus. A lot of times I put a coat hanger so you can watch how I take Instamorph and put that in there. Or there's like Pipsqueak markers, there's other markers, so this fits in there really nice. So that's the other thing, is that if I was painting or had the paintbrush, that just holds it into the D-ring, or not the D-ring, the T-joint. And if I rotate it like this, notice how my fingers slide on the two sides. So even if I don't have good strong grasp, that's in there. But I can also do an iPad stylus, and as long as this is metal, my two fingers are touching the metal, completes a circuit. So I can use that. I can also create something to bend over, but that's just another way for people with grasping impairments to be able to hold things. So that's the universal cuff concept. All right, so here's just a spring-loaded platform for cutting. You notice that the blade is recessed in. So it's just something very simple and easy to do for someone that doesn't have the ability to hold a pair of scissors and to cut. So we're going to talk about how easy it is to make one of these. So we're going to take, first of all, we're going to remove the backings off of this tape. You'll notice everything has been pre-scored for you. And peel that off. So this is part is pretty easy because you can't screw that up, right? So we push that down. And then over here, we have to separate the two boards. There we go. Put that done. And the next thing we have to do is we've got to cut out our groove. So we're going to slide down to the center there, and I'm going to take off one more flute here. So you've got the silver, but the cool thing is you need to know that it's just, and I'm like stop because I know that my razor blade is there. There we go. And next I'm going to take a utility knife and I'm going to score right across the edges here. So I'm going to score here, and I'm going to score right across here. There we go. And now all I have to do is bend, bend, and bend. And going to cut that piece off, and that piece, and that piece. There we go. Now, this next part, I have to take the backings off on this side, and this part is probably the most trickiest, is because you only get one shot at this, because this is double-sided permanent foam mounting tape. So remember how you fold it over, but now you can't do this. Yep, you can do this. So you have to position it so that when you line this up, so I try to use like my hands, I try to stand up, I look over the top, I try to line up the two ends here, and then push it down. Now, this is over, I can always trim that later. And so now what we want to do is we want to create a stopper so that our scissors do not slide backwards out. And this is just, it's called dual lock. And notice I'm holding the scissors like this, and I'm sliding it right through this groove. And when I slide it into this groove, I want to slide it nice and tight, and I'm sliding it nice and tight so that here, these two ends come right flush to the end here, okay, so now I don't want this to slide backwards. So once I've got that locked in there, this is a stopper right here. I want to stop that from going backwards. So I'm going to take my piece of dual lock, and I'm just going to put it in there so it's flush with the back of that. And look at that, it keeps it from sliding backwards. The last thing I have to do is I need to peel and stick rubber bumpers because I don't want this sliding all around. So I'm going to peel and stick that. That's going to grip onto the table for me. Here we go. Grips. And I do want to come around and I want to round off all of my corners so that there's no sharp edges. I don't want anybody scraping themselves on this. I like to kind of nick off any of those sharp edges. And you see how this grips onto the table? It's not going anywhere, and voila, right? You can also, spray paint these in a plastic black spray if this is too distracting for you. You can put contact paper, but just saying this is how easy. Then to remove it, I close it like this, grab a hold down here, and look I rotate. So I rotate over, and then I come out. So that's how wicked easy it is to make one of these platforms for the scissors. So then I can slide it back in, and I want to slide it in again so that it lines up. There we go. It goes past the dual lock. Now it's locked in there. It is not sliding at all in there. So that's our platform.